This video is called "What Arts Did Bruce Lee Bring with Him Over from Hong Kong?" And this is a very important question, because from the arts that he brought over, Jeet Kune evolved. But I think really what people miss were the thinking and the thoughts and the philosophy that Bruce brought over when he was culminating or creating Jeet Kune. And for one, the sensitivity that was brought from Wing Chun and Kung Fu styles is a very important thing, because that is what created a lot of the strategies of Jeet Kune and actually making physical contact when you train. Like with grappling arts, the advantage is you've actually had physical contact with another person when trying the techniques. Your body has enacted its adrenals, and you know what that's like when your adrenals kick in, and you know what is going to happen inside yourself as you're pushing against another person. Use muscles that you've never used. So from a stand-up perspective, when you're working with another person in Wing Chun, you work sensitivity drills, and your arms and your hands and all these things become more sensitive right across the base of your arm, because you're flowing with another person, and you learn to read someone's energy. Just like in grappling, when you take somebody down, when you feel that give, that person is growing weaker and they're becoming tireder, which might give you an advantage to create a submission. So the advantage with Bruce is he brought over, he knew, I think, 12 sets, and I think they call it Tom Tao, which is a very hard style to research, because for my viewers out there, I've tried to research this style, Tom Toy, and haven't been able to find a whole lot about it. He learned fencing from his brother, which is very interesting for his footwork perspectives, because where you place your foot is very important when you're sparring, when you're fighting another person. He had takedown ability. He had wrestling skills. Not quite sure where he got that from, but if you study all his books, he mainly wanted to stay on his feet. That's a big thing. But I think the foundations of Wing Chun, and there were some other Kung Fu styles where he traded with another Kung Fu master, and I would be like, wow, I wonder what that was like, because he's trading what he knows with someone who knows something else, and the circles, so to speak, started to kind of overlap, and his physical ability was just amazing. I really feel like Enter the Dragon was his peak, but I think probably Game of Death really, but he was filming both of those concurrently, and a lot of people don't know that Enter the Dragon, which was amazingly grueling, Game of Death was grueling as well, and you wonder why he was getting these headaches, because he later passed of cerebral edema, which is swelling of the brain. But he was a workaholic. You know, he had a family as well. That's enough for most people, you know. And then all the merchandising that was going along, and kind of branding himself and creating this image, and he was willing to stop at nothing to be successful. So he just immersed himself in all these things and just never slowed down. I mean, the tapes I've seen of him training at his house were just amazing, and he kind of evolved from this close quarters kind of combat, you know, of Wing Chun and the hand techniques, into more of almost like a taekwondo kind of, you know, I'm going to get back here and work from this distance, and then when I get in, I'll start working. And you know, kind of his arms and legs are kind of Dan Ensenado, because if you watch, you can really learn and see all the techniques evolve through Dan, which you would have never seen through Bruce. Because if you look at the books, it's almost like, let me step back and counter your attack. And you know, the two differences between a counter puncher is he's reacting to the energy that you're sending him, and an attacker attacks you and then reacts on the second pulse. Like if I punch you, you're going to react a certain way, and then you're going to counter. Then I have to counter to what you punched, unless I'm doubling up on techniques and the two techniques finish you. So when you look at Bruce, it's more from an attack perspective because there's really not much more footage of him countering. But when you watch Dan Ensenado integrate the Wing Chun and then counter, he seems to be more of a counter fighter. And I think the style too was designed from the southpaw perspective, because I see everybody in the southpaw stance and then they reteach working from the right, which is a standard boxer or fighter. Lastly, the main style that he brought over, which if you've never been hit before, that's just something you have to learn to fashion to yourself. And Bruce came with boxing. He had been a Golden Gloves boxer, obviously, and he took that boxing style and he built a lot of things around it and integrated the Wing Chun and I guess some Tom Toy. And in the Wing Chun style, I think they said he'd gone up to set 6 or 7 with the wooden dummies. So Tom Toy, boxing, fencing, Wing Chun, obviously, and many other styles. Probably some Greco-Roman wrestling, judo. I think he studied some Kempo. But the energy of what he created when he went to Ed Parker's event is that he started attracting these other fighters that he could come in and train with. So what an incredible style, and I hope to learn more about it in the future. Have a great day.